reverse rule, the secret millionaire blueprint is you've got to learn to communicate. The question is how? You have to study, you have to educate, you have to get rid of all the crap of the past and start again fresh, a newborn baby. And how do you do that? You start off by this. When you go home tonight and you speak to your partner, you speak to your mother, your father, maybe to your father-in-law, you should instantly find out what kind of language they speak. If they're old school, 99% will be kinesthetic. If they are old school. If they're newish, it will start becoming more visual. I can even look at who's visual kinesthetic right here, right now. The lady who came on here earlier and wasn't dancing much, what is she? Super duper duper kinesthetic. The lady at the back. Pragya? I mean, she was like all over the place, right? My wife, she's visual. Visual kinesthetic. Now you can tell. Imagine you meet someone, they come up to you, you can instantly tell. Now you may say everybody dresses up. Not true. I know people that dress up before they go to bed even. It's true, people do. So my point to you is that you can just judge by the way people walk. How does a visual guy walk? Who walks like this? Kinesthetic. He's chilled in life. Chalega. I really hate that word. Chilled in life. Now, is it bad to be kinesthetic? No. Doesn't matter what you are. But what you should do is you should practice being visual. I'll tell you why. Remember the glass walk we did yesterday? What happens is, if you're kinesthetic, you will only feel. So you will feel the pain of life. If you're visual, you can see possibilities. You can see possibilities. How can you become more visual? I play a lot of these games on Xbox and on the computer, where you spot the difference. I love them. Or the hidden object games, where there's objects hidden somewhere, you have to find them. I just love them. Why do I play those games? And people are always saying, what are you playing games for? Because when I'm looking for hidden objects, what am I most using? My eyes, and it increases your eyes. Now here's an example. If everyone stand up for a minute, I want you to spread apart and keep your arms out. I mean, start here for a minute. Okay, start here. Now what I want you to do, I want you to focus on your hands. And just watch me first. Just watch me first. And I'm going to ask you, not yet, I'm going to ask you to do this. And I'm going to tell you to keep your hands forward. And you should be able to wiggle your fingers and see how far you can see. I can still see my fingers. Okay? I can still see my fingers. I can still see my fingers. Okay, this is where I stop. Now my peripheral vision is this. Which means now when I'm walking around, I am seeing this much of the world. So put your hands forward, wiggle your fingers, and see how far you can see. Don't look, just look straight, just look straight. Do not look, only look straight. Do not look side to side. Keep your hands dead straight, arms dead straight. Now keep looking. And until you can see your fingers, and stop. Okay. Now most of you are pretty good. Now some of you are not even past this. Some of you, I know a guy who's like this. It's amazing. He can see everything. My wife has 360 degrees in the shopping mall. Right? She can see handbags from the back of her head. I don't know how she does that. But my point is, your peripheral vision can tell you how visual you are as a person. If you don't have a wide vision, what do? A simple practice of this every day will increase your vision. Every day. When I first started, I was this. I'm this. Up to here. Now you may say, what's that got to do with anything? But you have to increase your scope of vision. Otherwise you become narrow-minded. That's what narrow-minded people are. So if you want to become even more successful than you are, if you want to become even more happy than you are, you have to stick to the basics. There is no magic pill. I'm sorry. You can sit there and want this magic pill that if I just do this, my life will change. Not going to happen. You have to do the basics. The basics are that you need to start off with improving your communication, and the hardest place to work that is where? Home. It is the hardest. And if you succeed there, anywhere in the world. I had the privilege of being Sunena's friend. We're good friends. When I first met Sunena, her communication skills were good. When I meet her now, her communication skills have transformed. Because she now doesn't speak from her heart, she speaks from her vision. And how do I know that? Because her eyes are lit up. And when you see eyes that are lit up, now the lady over there, who I'm going to pull up probably later on, who didn't dance much, were her eyes glowing or were they dull? They're dull. Now you want to be successful. I mean, if I look around the room right now, I can just tell by your eyes whether you are in a power state or not. And communication comes from nowhere else. You can dress up how you want, look super cool, but you come to the eyes, people will know the truth. That's what you're going to do. So you've got to increase your peripheral vision. So the simple process is this. So number one, if you don't fix your communication and become a power communicator, you cannot become successful in the terms of what success means to most people. So I want you to do this. Look at your neighbor and tell him, you've got to have power communication. Let's tell him.
You got to have power communication.
No, that was terrible. That was terrible. Say it like you mean it. You've got to have power communication. Now look at the person on the other side and tell him the same thing. Okay, what I want you to do very quickly, I want you to find a partner. Find a partner very quickly. In fact, do me a favor. Go around the room and find someone you don't know. Very quickly. I'm going to give you 5 seconds. Find it. Quick. Well, 5 seconds. 1. Everybody found a partner?
Yes.
And what you do, you point at one person and call him A and the other one should be B. So find A. Who's the A's? A's, raise your hand. Okay. So what I want A to do, in fact, what I want B to do, I want you to point at A and say, you are going second. So you go first. Okay, B's are going to go first. So B's, raise your hand. What I want you to do is this. I want you to give a 1-minute conversation to A. And I want you to just talk about your life. And what I want A to do is I want you to discover whether they're visual, auditory, or kinesthetic. And how will you do that? Listening. Yeah, just listen in this case, because looking will be, some of you may start falling in love with it. Let's just stick to listening. And by the way, don't get too kinesthetic with the people, please, all right? Calm down. Right, calm. I get Pragya, I hold her hand. Doesn't mean that everyone's holding everyone's hand. You've got to calm that down. So the key factor here is I want you to look at the person, have a conversation, listen to them, and please don't go, into the normal B-style right? You don't want to do that. Just do a little 1-minute conversation about yourself, and I want you to discover what language they're using. Okay, so I'm going to give you less than a minute. Go. Okay. 5 seconds. Four, three. Okay, stop. Shh. How many of you discovered what your partner is? How many of you were not even listening to what they were saying? How many of you discovered what your partner is? How many of you did not discover yet? Okay, everybody. So how many of you say that your partner is visual? Interesting. Auditory? Kinesthetic? I'm so perfect, right? Visual kinesthetic. It's going to happen. Amazing. I expected more kinesthetic. How many of you, what is she? No, okay. Oh, so you spoke first. What is he? But yeah, could you work it out or not? Okay, what kind? Were you listening to the words? Was she using words like?
Words, I'm this, I'm that. I mean, is it also the way I take the information?
No. It's very scientific. All you have to do is listen for words. So if she says, like I just spoke to this gentleman, right? And I know instantly he's super kinesthetic. He's a kinesthetic man. Because all he did was say to me, I'm going through, I'm a little shattered, and I want to do this, but this didn't work out, and I feel this way, and I feel this way, and I feel. So I know he's kinesthetic. So if she said, for example, I can see myself in the future doing this, I can visualize my life in this way, then I know she's visual. So you've got to listen to the words. So we're going to do it once again very quickly, but this time I give you 20 seconds.
What if you say, I am this, I am this?
See, don't use the word I am. Just talk about your future, talk about your past. Don't say I am this, I am that, I am that. Let's forget that. Depending on the context. Okay, then you have to question her. Yeah. Like this gentleman started off, so I started asking him questions. So tell me about what do you want to do with your life? You can ask questions if you want. Or you can even move questions in so you can get information. So what about what do you like best about when you buy clothing? How do you like your clothing? That's a good way to find out. If you were to buy a car, in fact, let's do this. Ask them if they were to buy a car, what would affect their buying decision? Would it be the way that it looks? Would it be the way it feels? Would it be the way it drives? Would it be the sound? Would it be the wheels? Ask them that question. You'll definitely get an answer. You've got 20 seconds. Go ahead. So if you were to buy a car. Okay, stop. How many of you discovered your person's primary communication model? Meaning were you visual, auditory, kinesthetic? Which one? How many of you said visual? How many of you think their partner is kinesthetic? And how many of you think they're auditory? Interesting, when I spoke to this gentleman first, I said he was kinesthetic. In this conversation, he was very visual. Now, this is not going to tell you instantly, but when you go home tonight, the words to look for are things like imagine, I see what you mean, or I hear what you say. And they use words that describe what modality, it's called a modality, what modality they're using. When you discover that, I'm telling you, 50-60% of any of your issues that you have will disappear. Because you speak the same language. Yeah, but by the way, we all have all three. Of course we have all three. But we have something called a primary one. For example, I'm a primary visual. If you want to convince me of something or you want to communicate with me, you've got to show me. If you just talk to me, I won't be able to understand it.
Like I talked about the comforts more than anything else.
Kinesthetic. Kinesthetic. How many of your partners first talked about the way the car should look? And if you look, here's an example. If I say to you that, with me, let's take my example. For me, the way the car looks is really important. Okay, so the way the car looks. And when I open the car door, and the way the interior looks is very crucial for me. I want to open the hood, and I want to see the engine. It should look like a mean engine. Then when I sit in the car, I should like the feel of the leather. And when I start the car, I'm going to hear that noise. Shh. It makes me feel. So therefore, mobile phone. Therefore, I'm a visual, kinesthetic. So my most important modality is